guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And the brand new Mortal Kombat movie finally released, and it's really interesting to see the reception of this film and how some people are reacting to this movie release. Now, this film, of course, released on HBO Max alongside also releasing theatrically, bringing more movies back to the forefront in theaters once again. And of course, with this film based off of the video game series that is so action-packed and heavy, it was really interesting to see how this translated into a movie, especially with all of the special effects and things that are around nowadays in 2021. And it's really awesome to take a look behind the scenes and appreciate some of the talent and hard work that went into the creation of this movie, and just a lot of the really interesting behind the scenes stuff that showcases a lot of the awesome visuals that went into the film.
Epic. We have all the great characters that the fans love.
The interesting thing about playing a video game character is that you have to walk this line of being larger than life, but also making that person real.
Incredible athlete, incredible fighter. The guy worked so hard, it was just unbelievable. He just did not stop.
Now, what's really interesting is now that this movie has released, there is a little bit of a mixed reaction when it comes to how people are perceiving this film. For the most part, fans of the Mortal Kombat series who have played the video games or even saw the older movies in the 90s, actually for the most part do appreciate the film. There are some really awesome fight scenes and there's just some great moments along the way. It does seem though that a lot of the more critical reviews or critical perceptions come from maybe some people who don't fully understand the concept of Mortal Kombat, and maybe that's one aspect that Mortal Kombat didn't really focus in on as trying to establish it in a real world setting, or at least a more relatable setting, though this probably is one of those movies that's going to have the legs to become a cult classic film just because of how it was still a good movie.
This really comes across as a powerful experience that we haven't seen before. It's this grounded, dramatic, but violent tale.
One of the best highlights of this film easily were the amazing stunts and fight scenes and just the awesome choreography that went into this film. And when we look behind the scenes and see those moments, it's really clear how cool and amazing how much work went into building those types of stunts.
So you've got to hire these people that have that ability.
Excellent.
The fight scenes are epic.
It's mind-blowing what they do, really.
Now, obviously, with the history of this film, and for the most part, it was a movie that was in development for such a long time before we finally got to see it enter production. It is very likely that with this film and the popularity around it, that they likely could be setting things up for a future. And getting to see a Mortal Kombat 2 is something a lot of fans would love to see, because there's still a lot of characters from the game that didn't make their way into the first film. So there's a lot of room for more stories to be told and just more characters being shown off. One thing that is really interesting, though, is definitely looking behind the scenes and seeing how a lot of the actors that played these iconic characters took on the role and became the type of character for this movie and were kind of forced to do these hardcore fight scenes. So seeing interviews of that is always something really interesting.
No, I wasn't inspired by any Mortal Kombat previous character. I was inspired by the game itself, the energy of the game. I'm a big fan of the game. I was playing it when I was a kid, and I think there's a creativity, there's a power, there's a fantasy element to it, there's a brutal element to it, but there's also a beauty element to it. And I think that the energy of the game is what inspired me. And then as an actor who loves martial arts and loves to perform my martial arts, it was an opportunity for me to showcase something and to represent, for Asian Americans in a way that maybe hasn't been done in many years.
Mortal Kombat is physically harder because I have 10, maybe 12 kilos attached to my body.
Right.
And then I just need to move fast in terms of doing it. I think Mortal Kombat is harder because I have like almost like a kid on my back, and I have to like running around and move around.
Mortal Kombat started as this very simple 8-bit fighting game that was revolutionary at the time. I liked the idea that we could bring these characters to a level that hadn't really been seen before.
It was wild. We all kind of flew into this place that none of us had really ever been to before, and I hadn't even met everyone yet, but I went straight to a costume fitting, and I put my costume on and was like, well, I guess this is happening. Woo! It was really cool.
As soon as I spoke to Simon, our director, I realized that his vision is to build a universe around this thing, and his universe is a very gritty, very physical universe that actually pays homage to a lot of the things that come out of the 90s, before we had all this CG magic. So we stepped into the outback of Australia, which just looks like Outworld in itself. And the cast, like a person like Nathan Jones, who plays Reiko, he's like 8 feet tall, 300 pounds on a skinny day walking around. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I'm in this world. My kid self went, yeah, you're in it now, man. You're not getting out until this is done.
How did you guys deal with the fan pressure of getting these characters to life and be as truly as possible to this?
It's a tough one, you've got to take on board that pressure, because you have to acknowledge that the fans are probably the reason the movie's getting made in the first place, and so you've got to, you take on board and make sure they feel listened to, right? That's important, because they've given so much of their dedication and love and loyalty to this.
Absolutely.
Man, I tried so hard. I researched, asked a lot of questions to the director and the writer, because why he's doing that, why he's doing this, because I want people to understand the logic, why he's doing all those things, the bad stuff, and then is he's in pain or he's actually pure darkness. So those questions, and then we came up with we're on the same page that we want to deliver Sub-Zero as like the darkness.
But I think from a like a wanky actor point of view as well, that relationship has twists and turns throughout the movie as well. It's not just this, we just hate each other and that's it from start to finish. I think there is this weird, unexpected nature to what happens with Sonya and Kano as well. And I think it stays true to the relationship that was established in the games.
But first, we wanted to give a quick reminder. We do have a really awesome Instagram page that updates you guys on everything happening Marvel immediately. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, check it out, link in the description. There's also a ton of really awesome memes and other things that are posted on there. So make sure you guys are following that page. And let's go ahead and jump into this story. Now, it does look like so far this movie could be setting up a franchise that maybe does better than the 90s movie counterpart. Now, for the most part, when that first film came out, it was still received relatively well. However, the sequel follow-up kind of bombed, and it resulted in a third planned film never getting made. So we are optimistic that with this fresh reboot on the series, perhaps things will be different, more attention to detail will be made, and they'll continue to try to bring this video game concept to life in the big screen in one way or another. So we did want to turn this around to you guys. What did you think of Mortal Kombat, the new 2021 one? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, which character would you like to see featured in Mortal Kombat 2? Let us know as well. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for more videos like this, uploaded every day of the week. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.